Bungie is gearing up to share some pending updates coming to Destiny 2, with announcements coming as early as next week, as hinted by community manager Deej and game director Chris Barrett. What exactly is changing about the game? Fans first and foremost want to know about the one thing, EverVerse. Clearly, something is going to have to change with the EverVerse, which is currently bogging down the game by holding back an enormous amount of cosmetic items being held hostage with a loot pool as big or even possibly bigger than what has arrived in the new expansion, such as the Curse of Osiris. But how far will Bungie go to try and fix this problem? The question is if Bungie will hit the big red button and completely nuke Eververse. Now, it may sound crazy for a AAA game to kill its source of post-launch revenue in this day and age because of fan pushback, but that is literally what has just happened with Star Wars Battlefront 2. That game removed its microtransactions hours before launch because of the controversy they've generated, and that was without a backup plan such as Destiny has with paid DLCs. 7 weeks later, for sale loot boxes still have not returned to Battlefront 2. Now, the Destiny 2 situation can be considered both similar and different. Destiny 2 situation is similar because I would say that most Destiny fans are probably just as angry, if not angrier, about Eververse's influence in the game as Battlefront 2 players were about those games' microtransactions, to the point where it's almost consuming every conversation about the game. But the Destiny 2 controversy is different because technically, Battlefront 2 was selling clear power advantages. Loot boxes were a more black and white case of microtransactions gone wrong, while Destiny 2 still has the just cosmetic argument to fall back on. Now, it was also Disney that pressured EA and DICE to strip away the microtransactions to protect a stain on their beloved Star Wars brand. Bungie, on the other hand, was the one who proposed Eververse to Activision, and I'm not sure a similar scenario would play itself out. It would only be fans pressuring them to kill Eververse if that did happen. Now, another question that raises is if they will do it. Now, obviously, it would be a huge boost to player morale. If they destroyed Eververse completely and started distributing its items as regular loot in the game itself, that would solve many of Destiny 2's current issues and be the ultimate example that Bungie's "we hear you" phrase actually means something. Now, with that being said, I'm an inclusion of ghosts, sparrows, ships, ornaments, and this way to get those in other activities. Removal of armor sets as well. Now, removing of the gambling engram system, because right now this RNG and paying for it, it's a gambling engram sale system, so hopefully they can get rid of that. Now, to be clear, I don't think that they do more than one of these three things at a time, and certainly not all of them at once. But these are the kinds of fixes that I do foresee Bungie would try to quell community anger before removing Eververse outright completely. Now, the issue, on the other hand, is that Destiny 2 has a lot more problems than just Eververse. From loot to subclasses, storytelling, enemy variety. Diablo 3, for example, killing the auction house was essentially the magic fix that cured pretty much 90% of what ailed the game. Now, I'm not sure Eververse would do the same, but much as I might want it gone, it would be a big, bold, and symbolic gesture and a great move for Bungie to eliminate Eververse completely, as a way to say that they understand us, that they get it, to their fans. But given that they allegedly had to convince Activision this was the way forward instead of making paid DLC every few months, it's tough to see them tearing it all down now. My prediction is that Eververse fixes are they're on the way. And if those still aren't enough, well, I guess we'll see where we are then. Now, should Eververse be erased completely from Destiny 2? Let me know what you think. Or is there an acceptable middle ground where we can kind of keep it in the middle?